Well, Matt James, an interesting qualifying session. Darrell de Leon taking his first pole there. Gordon Shedden alongside him. Jake Hill in the mix. Josh Cook in the mix. Senna Proctor in the mix. It was an incredible session.
Yeah, you're missing a couple of big names there, aren't you? In fact, a lot of big names got caught out. Wet, dry nature of the running was absolutely brilliant, and it seemed to me, particularly in the quick six, the last particular part, the guys that went out on wets early didn't set the best times. It's those that opted to switch to the wets later on, and even Darrell de Leon said he wasn't sure it was the right choice, but he listened to his engineer. Worked out perfectly for him, and great for him to get pole position in traditionally conditions that don't suit the BMW when it's greasy like that. But as we've said, a couple of the big hitters had problems earlier on, so there was a vacant spot for him to claim, and he did.
Absolutely. So the weather and Silverstone circuit being sort of a right-hand oval in lots of ways, and choosing when to opt for the tyres, that Mr. Gow will be delighted, because that's a cracking example of how to put on a good quick six.
Yeah, and it shows the jeopardy of the shootout nature of the 10-minute sessions. You've got to progress through one, progress through two. Weather's changing, you've got to be adaptable, you've got to know when to pit at the right time. It played perfectly for the jeopardy element of it. And as we see, Tom Ingram got caught out, Ash Sutton got caught out, compromised on setups, weren't sure which way to go. Weather apps lie, according to them both, because they looked at one and looked at another and it didn't work out. But brilliant, yeah, I mean, what a roller coaster ride, and it's given us, this is one of the crunch meetings of the year, and we've got such a mixed up grid, as you said, Shedden on the front row as well. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
With all the big names that we've talked about not being at the front, they are going to want to be quick and to make their way up the grid, which for the fans is an incredible first racing prospect, isn't it?
Well, it is, but there's massive jeopardy for those guys, because they haven't got a lot of Toka turbo boost, so they're going to be clinging on to the cars in front. They're not going to want to get into the mix with anybody, because they both need to bank points, whatever points they may be, they need to bank them. So what do you do? Do you go on the front foot on the attack, or do you reserve it and just try and keep it safe and score points? It's a big question mark for both of them. I think the weather tomorrow, we don't know yet what that's going to do, is going to be critical, and how they finish at the end of the first lap, because if they've made progress, and they should go on the attack. If they haven't, you may see them being a little bit more cautious, or they could even get together.
Indeed. Qualifying in the wet was interesting, because they didn't necessarily have a wet setup, and most of free practice this morning was in the dry, so they've all got good dry setups, and all of the top six were perfectly happy with their free practice performances.
Yeah, and we saw record-breaking pace, didn't we, in free practice this morning, so the cars are going faster than they ever have done around Silverstone, which is brilliant. Just don't know what tomorrow's going to do. What's it going to bring?
You can't call this one tomorrow, can you?
I'm not going to do a rain dance, because I personally like it to be dry, because the racing is brilliant in the dry. Wet, there's jeopardy, there's elements we don't know. It's just plenty to look forward to.
With the gap between Tom Ingram and Ash Sutton, two key protagonists in the championship, this doesn't point to a quick solution here this weekend, and that it's necessarily going to give us a winner of the championship early.
No, and that's great, because we all wanted to go to Brands Hatch to the final round showdown. Tom Ingram's come into this weekend hugely ahead in the points, and people were saying, well, he can wrap it up. But just look at what the BTCC can do, and look at the way the rules play. Their mid-grid, and Ash's mid-grid as well. It's very unlikely to be settled tomorrow, but whoever scores the most points out of those two will take a huge step towards the Brands Hatch finale.
Absolutely. And if you had a crystal ball, we could predict it, but you can't. In this weather, these conditions, with those drivers, you haven't got a cat in hell's chance.
No, and I'm glad you haven't asked me to nail my colours to the mast. Thank you, Steve.
So I think we're going to be going, it looks like, let's make a little prediction, it looks like we're going to be, or a high percentage of the chance that we're going to be going into the finale. It's exactly what Toka and Alan Gow like, is the big finish to the year.
Yeah, and Brands Hatch is the Grand Prix track particularly a fantastic place to finish, because it doesn't favour rear-wheel drive or front-wheel drive, it doesn't favour this chassis or that chassis. It's equal for all cars, so it's down to the drivers. Once we get to Brands, the gloves are off, it's just down to mano a mano who's the best driver on the weekend, and we'll look forward to that. And
it's come around too soon. Another couple of weeks we'll be saying, well, that was 2025. Where did it go?
Don't you get a couple of weeks off at the end of the season, Steve?
Before we start all over again.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Matt, as always, a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, mate.